Hello YouTube, welcome back to the channel. I'm so excited today because I just got my P23s in, which I've been waiting for a long time, so I'm very excited about that. But first I would like to make a shout out to J.K. Lesky, who was so very kind to be the first person to give me a thanks on YouTube. As you can see, he thanked me for €11.99. Super appreciated. Thank you very much. If you don't know what this is, there is a feature now on YouTube. You can find it over here. It's a thanks button by which you can thank me financially, which would of course very much support this channel because, you know, it goes a lot of time into these videos. So if you do enjoy them very much, this is a way to show your appreciation to me, which I in turn would appreciate very much, which of course would motivate me even more to keep doing this on a very regular basis, because you might have noticed that for about a month or maybe even two already now, I've really been trying to get my production up and really do a weekly video. So if you have something to spare and you do really enjoy what I'm doing, you know where to find this button now. And of course also likes and subscribes are still very much appreciated. Then also I have decided to put a bit more structure into the videos because, you know, it's nice. And if you will be thanking me, of course, I will put more effort into making not only more videos, but also better videos. So with the reviews, I will be first talking about the brand of the garment that I'm reviewing, then talk about the release of the garment, the purpose of it, like is it a jacket, is it a pair of pants, what is it, a shirt, what are you supposed to do with it, then the fabric, of course, I mean, we are talking about tech wear, right, so that's the thing. Then comfort and fit, which in my opinion might just be the most important thing in tech wear, even arguably more important than the fabric. The special features of the garment, like the pockets or modularity or whatever is special about this piece. I will try to include a styling montage in every video, but you know, that takes up the most work, so I can't promise that every video will have one. And then at the end, as always, my final thoughts. Then to start off with the brand, I mean, we are talking about ACRONYM, of course. Followers of my channel are probably quite familiar with this brand, so if you don't really care about this portion, you can skip on to the next. I'll put timestamps in the description. ACRONYM is a streetwear brand co-founded by Errolson Hugh that started producing clothes in 2002. The first two pieces being the Type 2371 jacket and the 3A1 sling bag, both featured in a kit called the Kit 1, which was released in 2002. The Type 2371 was basically the first J1, a jacket that has been revised about every year since, or maybe even twice a year in the past few years, constantly improving and updating the latest design features and contemporary cuts. ACRONYM stands at the forefront of the tech wear movement, and its influence is undeniable, seeing how much technical clothing now has entered the mainstream with the whole gore-core movement, with brands like North Face and Arc'teryx being fashion brands now, which 20 years ago were only worn by actual outdoor enthusiasts. So like many ACRONYM releases, the P23A-DS is a revision. What the exact differences are, we will find out when I unbox it. The first release of the P23 was in fall-winter 17-18. Still one of the sickest seasons of ACRONYM, in my opinion. The difference, I think, is quite subtle, but I know there is an external phone pocket. According to the measurements, the hem at the ankle has grown about a centimeter, and the 2017 version had some issues with the belt system, which should have been solved by now. As I mentioned on the previous video, which you can still see here if you missed it, there has been some confusion about when this pant was supposed to drop. Initially it was planned as a part of Drop C, which would be in the new year, but because Drop B was postponed due to delivery issues, when Drop B finally happened on December 29th, the P23 was also released on the mother's side and at a few Asian retailers in Japan and China, and I think some random stores in the US and Canada too. As expected, because it was a very much anticipated release, it sold out everywhere instantly. So then, of course, people started asking on social media, like, when is it or is there going to be a restock or whatever? And Errolson himself answered on Instagram that all the retailers were supposed to be getting it. So then, because I also missed the P23 because I hadn't anticipated its release already, emailed every retailer in the entire EU, literally, because that's how I am. And I can tell you now that the P23 is not to be released at every retailer, because actually most of the stores that have answered me confirmed that they will not be stocking the P23. Those stores are Ollery, Cultism, Stoy, Gate, A+, Norse, KDV, and Slam Jam. You can see the email contact that I had with them. There were actually only 2 stores that confirmed to me that they were be getting the P23, Darklands Berlin, which is where I got mine, and Labels, but Labels didn't know that they were restocking it when I asked them a week ago. So that's why I bought Darklands, who were so very nice to let me pre-order and send the pens to me immediately when they arrived. So shout out to Darklands Berlin. By the way, if you don't know, you can find the entire ACRONYM stock list at the bottom of the mother site. This is a relatively new feature of the site, so you might not have noticed this yet, but it's quite handy. Then the purpose of the garment is a pair of pants that can be worn next to skin for all season use, because it's a very adaptable fabric. It also has a drop crotch, which doesn't necessarily make it super ideal for riding a bike or a horse, but of course makes it very great for lounging around, doing martial arts or yoga, or just standing around looking cool. The fabric is Scholler Dry Skin, a fabric from Switzerland, one of my favorite fabrics. I have mentioned already a few times on my channel. It is a synthetic fabric that is very soft and moist wicking on the inside, and water repellent, abrasion resistant, and breathable on the outside, which makes it very easy to clean. It doesn't stain very quickly, so if you drop something on it, you can just wipe it off with a damp cloth. Obviously, that's easier on black dry skin, but I also have a alpha green dry skin shirt that up until now I've been able to keep quite clean without having it to wash it every week. Also, it dries very quickly and it keeps looking new for a long time because of the abrasion resistance. It doesn't get patina like Stotts. This is something I also like very much because I'm not really into the whole worn look. So, I mean, I've had this shirt for I think 2 years now, I think. And I wear it like a few times every week. And I mean, it seriously still looks like new. Also, it unwrinkles itself when you hang it up, which is also something I love very, very much because I hate wrinkles and I'm not really great at ironing. It has 4-way stretch, which makes it, of course, super comfortable and is antimicrobial, so it doesn't smell very quickly. Again, it's an absolutely amazing fabric, in my opinion. It also has a slight sheen, which makes it look kind of luxurious. I sold my P23A-DS a few months ago to get these, so I've really been missing a pair of roomy dry skin pants. Then we've come to the comfort and fit. Well, I'll have to find out because it's still in the box, so I'm gonna get it out now. Ooh, Darklands. Full pack, as you can see. I've seen people complain quite often that some retailers don't send it full pack, which means in the bag with the sheets. Luckily, Darklands does. There it is, ACRONYM Fall Winter 22-23 P23A-DS in medium. I wear medium. I'm 176 centimeters tall, weighing about 65 kilos. And there we are. So first thing out of the box, I noticed that it looks quite similar to my P30s. I mean, obviously, because it's quite similar. I'm just gonna put it on. Okay, so I think the belt system works quite smoothly. It feels like it's the same system as on the P30s, so I guess they fixed it. I've never seen the old P23s before in real life, so I don't know what they look like, but I believe the webbing was a bit different, probably smoother so that it didn't stick for some reason. Well, the fit is good. I mean, it immediately fits nicely. Feels good. New dry skin always feels a little bit stiff. I mean, a lot stiffer than the shirt. I can really feel the difference now that it's very new. Also, you can hear sounds. I don't know if you can really hear it on the mic, but there's quite a bit difference in sound. So the new dry skin is quite loud, where the old dry skin is a lot softer in sound. And you can't really hear this, where this it's kind of noisy still, but I know that will go away after a while. And dry skin will get a lot softer and more comfortable. Looking at the clock, I'm afraid I have to go now, so I'll be finishing this video in a bit. Hey guys, I'm back. I put the camera a bit lower so you can look at the pants instead of my head, which is probably more interesting to you, considering the pants being the subject of this video. So where was I? I was talking about fit. They fit great. I really feel like this is my size. I think the length of the pants is just right. I mean, it's definitely not too big. I do feel when I sit, it might just be a little short, but not really. I don't think it's too short. I think it's the length is right. These pants to me really do feel like a tad less wide version of the P30s, which is exactly the reason why I bought them. So in that aspect, they are exactly what I wanted. The articulation is great. It's of course shoulder dry skin, so it's stretchy. So I mean, I don't feel any restriction in my movement whatsoever, as with all of my ACRONYM pants really, which of course is one of the great things about ACRONYM pants and ACRONYM clothing in general, them being designed for movement. I do feel that the lower leg does look a bit different than the old versions. I do feel that like the part in the middle of the lower leg where the cuff begins, looks a bit less wide than the old version, and then the cuff itself looks a bit wider than the older version. So I guess that means that the transition from the wide part to the narrow part is smoother or less extreme. I don't necessarily have a big opinion about that, as in that one looks better than the other. It just looks a bit different. I like how this looks on me, so that's just fine. I can't imagine that the tighter cuff might have been less comfortable for me because I don't have very skinny calves. So I actually think this is fine for me. I have already seen some people sizing down, and of course a lot of the retailer pictures, models that are 190 wearing small, which just looks absolutely ridiculous, with the transition being like way up at the knee, making the pants look like knickerbockers or something. Yeah, that just looks really stupid if you ask me. Also, if you size down and the pants get even tighter, because they are actually quite tight, I have to say. I actually think, because when I sit, when the pants creep up a bit, they are actually just tight around my calves. There's like no, I mean, They're not tight, but there's not a lot of room left. So like around the lower leg, I actually don't think these pants are much wider than my P10s, my P10DS, which is like a tight pant, so I don't really feel like there's much difference there. I mean, obviously the top is a lot wider, but if you have very thick calves, then the lower part might get a bit tight for you. But I think the medium fit for me is great, as I already expected and hoped, and yeah, that's just great. Okay, so the features, as you can see, there are 2 detached cargo pockets on both sides that have a side entry with a zipper, which is quite easy to access. If this flap is very convenient, I don't know yet. I mean, I've literally had these pants for like 1 day. We'll see. I mean, I do like how it looks. The design is very cool. I like that there's no top entry, making this pocket look very clean. I really like that, especially compared to my P23A-DS, which is of course a very loud looking pant with the silver zippers. My girlfriend always kind of jokes that whenever I get a new black pair of pants, it's like, oh, so you got another black pant, it just looks the same as your other black pant. And I kind of understand what she means, but that's why I like the fact that this one is very different looking than the P23A-DS, because that is almost kind of a bit punky because of the zippers, and this is a lot more clean. I will show that in the fit later on, how I think this pant can also look very clean. So the cargo pockets, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then there are actually 2 phone pockets, which is kind of funny because the ACRONYM product pictures show only 1 on the right side, I believe. And I think the old version also had only 1, so, which is a bit of a weird thing, I think, because this isn't the first time that a ACRONYM product picture doesn't match the actual product, as we saw with the S29 PRB, I believe. Anyway, the long sleeves where the cuffs were different, as I already mentioned in my video about them. Now we have this, and this is because they take pictures sometimes like a year or maybe even 2 years before the actual product comes out, and I take the pictures with samples. Sometimes those are not the final products, which I can understand, but what I do find a bit weird is that they don't mention it on the site, because that's how you buy it. So, you know, you buy something and then you get it, and then it's just different. Luckily, in this case, it's better because you just have an extra pocket. But I also noticed today, I saw a Discord conversation that the NG4SS has ear holes, which is really quite different looking than the not having ear holes on the product pictures. I personally think it looks kind of weird with the ear holes, and someone said on Discord that causes you to hear yourself breathe, because when you have it in front of your face and you breathe through the ear hole at your ears. So that doesn't really sound great to me. Anyway, there are 2 phone pockets. Then of course there are the D pockets on the sides. Like on most ACRONYM pants, those D pockets go to the front and to the back, like 2 ways, so you can split your things in your pockets. I actually use this part now for my AirPods, because that exactly fits in there. And then you have 2 back pockets, this time not with zippers, which is too bad, I think. I think the P30 had zippers in the back pockets, which I kind of liked, and these don't, which will probably make me not use these very much. So yeah, those are the pockets. I think they're cool. I like how they look. I think they are conveniently placed. I think I will be able to use them well. These back ones I don't know yet, but we'll see. I can imagine that these will be great for stuff that might be too heavy to put in the front ones, because they are on the front, and if you put something heavy in this and the pocket is detached, it might like flap around or slap against your legs or something. So this is probably a better pocket for maybe a telephone or keys or whatever. But you will probably have your telephone in here, like your wallet. I don't know, anything that has a certain weight to it. As I mentioned before, the belt system works just fine. There's no problem with it at all. Just feels exactly like the same belt system as the P30. I think I might try to do it myself. The new system that is on the Koivo P30s, which is basically just a piece of webbing with 2 loops that is attached with one of these things. I forget all the time what this is called, but you know what I mean. Like this, and then you can pull this loose, like with one hand. I think that's a cool system, but I think I can make that myself. So I'm gonna try that, maybe make a video about that later. And then of course, one of the most defining features of this pant, of course, is the fact that it has this transition mid-calf, which I think makes the pant look very good with high or mid-height shoes. More so than, for instance, the P38. I already had this opinion about the P30s, but the P30s are much wider, so I think these look better when worn with mid or high shoes. And then I mean shoes like these. Like actually I don't have a lot of other pants that look great with these, and I was almost thinking about selling these, but I think these will look really great with these pants, and I will show you in a sec. So yeah, it's time for some styling. All right, so it's time for the final thoughts. Yeah, I love them. I think they're great. They are actually exactly what I had hoped them to be, hoped/expected them to be. From the pictures, I was a bit afraid that the fact that the cuffs have grown a bit would not look good or less cool than the original P23As, but I think it looks just fine. And actually, now I have them on, I really do think that if the cuffs were tighter, then it might have been uncomfortable for me because, as I mentioned before, my non-skinny calves. I do feel that at the part where the transition is from the wide part to the small part, I might have benefited from just maybe a centimeter more in width for my calf. But I mean, it's not tight. I mean, I shouldn't be doing too much leg training, because if I would really buff up my calf, then it would definitely become too tight. but right now it's just fine. But when I'm in a sitting position and the pant creeps up a bit, I do feel that it touches all sides of my legs, let's say it like that. The top is great, it's wide enough to be comfortable, but it's not as super wide as the P30, so in that aspect, it's just exactly what I wanted, because I really did love my P30s, but they were just on the wide side, which made it difficult to bike in. I must say I haven't biked in these yet, but I can imagine that it will be better in these than in the P30s. Do I find the Pockets convenient? Don't know yet. I mean, I just got it, but I think I find them convenient. The only thing that I'm a bit afraid of is this part where they overlap, but this might like go like this, or you know. I don't know how this will work in like wearing it a lot, and if this will scrunch up, or if you open this pocket, if this will slip inside of there, or I don't know, or maybe get caught in the zipper, or you know. I mean, they really overlap, and they are both detached, so this has potential, is that a word? So this is potentially cumbersome, but we'll see. Belt system is great. I think they look great and fit me well. Again, I'm 176 centimeters tall, athletic build, and as I've tried to show you in the styling chapter, I think they are very versatile style-wise. I think they look well in a casual look, but also in a more streetwear sporty look. And I also think they look just great with the dress shoes and a blazer, so to me all those looks work. Let me know what you think. Do you think all those looks work, or do you really not agree with one of my styling choices? And tell me what you think about these pants. Were you able to get them? Are you still gonna try to get them if you don't have them yet and you want them? I really hope for you that you can still find them somewhere. The distribution is really a bit of a mess. I would really recommend you to ASAP call and email all the retailers in your neighborhood, and preferably, of course, within your tax area, so you don't have to pay all the import and everything. So that's it for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe, or even thank me. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.